What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Cage My IQ. As always, I'm your host, Cage. Today, I'm going to do a quick prediction video for Impact Wrestling's No Surrender taking place tonight on Impact Plus on YouTube. We got a nice 9-card matchup here going into uh, Sam's Town Live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's get started. But before we do, as always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content and wrestling content. You can follow and subscribe to us on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. Our Twitter handle is at CageIQ, so give us a follow on there. And then our handle on YouTube is Cage My IQ. So hit that in the search engine, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so whenever something gets put out, you guys are the first to get the notification for it. And please smash the like button down below and let me know what you think in the comment section of my predictions for this Impact Plus pay-per-view. Let's get started with the action here. We'll start with the two pre-show matchups. We got Giselle Shaw with Jai Vidal going up against Deonna Purrazzo. This all started up because of Deonna Purrazzo talking about how Giselle Shaw is taking the credit for her friend Chelsea Green leaving Impact. And she says that everything that's gone on in the groups that Giselle Shaw has been part of is because of her own cancer self. And this is going to be a fun matchup here. They've gone back and forth on before the Impact each week, and they've had several interactions. I think Deonna Purrazzo picks this matchup with the victory here. I think she needs the momentum. She is re-signing with the company, and she's the bigger star here. I think you give her the one up on Giselle Shaw here, moving forward to maybe put her up in the upper echelon of the knockouts division once again. Moving on to the next matchup, we got one of my most sought after matchups of the card. We got Jonathan Gresham versus Speedball Mike Bailey. This is just a gentleman's matchup here. They want to test each other. These are two young guys looking to move up into the upper echelon of the division here. I'm going to go with Speedball Mike Bailey. He's had a wonderful year coming in. Of course, he goes and has a great Battle of LA. He has that match of the year with Josh Alexander that went over 59 minutes. He's done a lot. He's already mastered the X Division. The one thing that's left over is getting that world title run that he's probably going to get in the future, whether it's this year or next year. I think he's committed to Impact Wrestling. He's a fan favorite. I think he gets it done here. Jonathan Gresham is going to put on a match with him. It's just Jonathan Gresham is just getting started with the company. He needs to get his feet wet. So I'm going with Mike Bailey in this matchup. Moving on to the next matchup, we got the Knockouts World Championship match between the champion Mickie James and the number one contender Masha Slamovich. I don't know why they keep putting Masha in these matchups here. If they're gonna put her in this matchup, they better make sure that she comes out on top in this. But I have a feeling that Mickie James is going to be put over here. I think they're talking too much about the rematch between Mickie James, of course, defending the title over who we all know she won the belt against. And I think it's going to be a rematch there down the line. You know how the contracted rematches are. And so I got Mickie James win this one. I think they're going to save that matchup for April or of course, the anniversary. They got to save it for something good. It's got to be a good pay-per-view, in my opinion. It could be Rebellion. It could be Slammiversary, in my opinion. But I have Mickie James retaining here. It's going to be a knockout brawl. And I think she just retains by the inch of her tails. So give this one to Mickie James. Now, this is the matchup I think is going to start a lot of storylines here. We got the number one contenders fatal four-way between Steve Macklin, Brian Myers, Heath, and PCO. I'm just going to say right off the bat, I think PCO is going to get taken out of the equation with Eddie Edwards, the whole back and forth that they're having over the last couple months since PCO has returned from Vegas. Ironically, they're in Vegas for this, so that might play something here. I think he's here just because he puts on a great match. Storyline wise, it doesn't make any sense for him to win. You got Brian Myers. Maybe he has a good uh, chance of winning this one. Maybe it's like a sleeper here. Somehow to screw Steve Macklin out of getting that world title match that's been eluding him. But I think Steve Macklin finally gets put over and gets that title match here. For the past 6 months, he's gone on and said that he deserves a title match. He has beaten every single former Impact World Champion that's in the company right now, and he feels like management is brushing over him for some reason. How it is this big deal, how he's not getting that title match. And he's calling collusion here, and this is a great way to get him that title match. Finally against Josh Alexander, they're starting to show the interaction between him and Josh, and how he's saying Josh is scared of him, and how everybody better watch out because it's tag him and bag him season. And I think it's time for Steve Macklin to get that shot. He's progressed very good in the past year. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in Impact right now. He has a great gimmick. He is that heel in the company that can go up and match up against Josh Alexander's face run. So I'm going with Steve Macklin to finally get that number one contender shot by winning this fatal four-way. Next, we got the 3-on-3 match between Time Machine versus Bullet Club. We got the Most City Machine Guns with Kushida versus Kenta with Ace Austin and Chris Bay. This all started a few weeks ago when Chris Bay and Ace Austin came back and told the Machine Guns they wanted a title shot for the tag titles because they had come back. They almost won the New Japan Super Junior Cup, Super Tag League. Of course, the World Tag League. They came inches from winning there. They've come back and proved. And the only reason that they didn't win that Fatal 4-Way Tag title match from a few weeks ago is because of interference, of course, from Zack Ryder and Brian Myers. And they said that because of that, of course, the Most City Machine Guns got lucky and they want their rematch. And then Kushida came in the mix, and we get this 3-on-3 match where they said that, you know what, you got Kushida there, let's do a 3-on-3, and we'll get Mr. Go to Sleep as our partner, so we get the return of Kenta. And on top of that, he has just won the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. So maybe this is a storyline that can roll into New Japan where you get Kushida getting a title shot for that Openweight Championship against Kenta. I'm going with Bullet Club to come out on top to continue this one. I'm hoping that from that we get the tag title match between Bullet Club and Most City Machine Guns, and then Kenta versus Kushida. So somehow I think Bullet Club gets the victory with shadiness, but I think they get put over in this matchup. So Bullet Club over Time Machine. Moving on to the next matchup, we got the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. We got the champions Death Dolls versus the Hex. This all started a few weeks ago when, of course, James Mitchell comes back, confronts, of course, the Death Dolls and explains that, you know what, when they won the titles, he was never given a call, of course. So, you know, from Rosemary, because he is basically the advocate of a father, and how disdained he was that they never told him and given him the proper call to talk to. So he says that because of this, he sent people out to take care of business, and in comes the Hex, the return of the Hex. They are multiple time tag champions in NWA. They are from Impact from a few years ago, of course, and they're back to do their bidding, but not for that, but they want to be tag champions in Impact. So they attacked the Death Dogs from behind, and that's how we get this Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. What a way to usher them in. I think the Death Dogs have been champions for a few months now, and we need a shakeup in the division, and that whole James Mitchell Rosemary storyline can blow out past this. And I think the great way to progress the storyline with that is to have the Hex take the Knockouts tag titles from the Death Dogs and become new champions here. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think maybe Sheamus gets involved again. Maybe James Mitchell pops back up to help them, but I got the Hex going over on the Death Dogs to become new tag team champions. Moving on to the next matchup, we got Khan with the Design versus Frankie Kazarian. This is basically a loon from Frankie confronting Sami Callihan about him wanting to be part of the Design. He's basically telling him, I think this is just a hoax for you to get back at them. And then Sami's just ignoring him, telling him no. We've seen week after week Sami going through the 7 steps of joining the Design, and each week he progresses with it. And Frankie's trying to stop it. He's trying to say, hey, snap out of it, Sami. I know this is a joke. Why are you doing this? You were a locker room leader, and now you're resorting to this. And then Frankie decides, you know what? If you're going to be this way, I'm just going to take over, and I'm going to challenge any one of you. And they picked Khan to face him. And this is also going to coincide with step 6 coming up for Sami Callihan. I have Khan coming out victorious. I think Sami's going to play a role in helping the Design get the victory here over Frankie Kazarian. I think maybe down the line we get Sami Callihan versus Frankie Kazarian in a match. So I think this is just a push on the storyline with the Design, and then having Frankie getting action in the ring as well. So I'm getting Khan picking up the victory, Sami putting in work with during the Design and getting them to trust him more and more each week. And I like the fact that they're giving Khan the chance to wrestle 1-on-1 instead of having to be just a backup guy in the group as like a manager. So I'm going with Khan picking up the upset victory here. Let's move on to the Impact World Championship. We got the champ. We got the face of Impact. We got Josh Alexander. He's been the champ for almost a year now. He's going up against one of the former champions, Rich Swann. He is just electrifying. He has great moves. He's great on the mic. Of course, he can dance. He just gets people involved in whatever he does. He's trying to get over just the storyline of course, saying that he needed this because he's the one who lost to Kenny Omega when Impact was at its highest during the pandemic. And then he felt like he let the company down, and he went on some sort of depression, losing streak, and now he is stepping on out of that. He feels like he means something again, and he needs this world title victory. He needs this to just get his career back on track and get him to the top of the food chain again. But Josh Alexander saying, I'm the champion. I'm the face of Impact. If I gotta knock you back down to that depressed section of your life again, I'm gonna have to. And I think he does. I think Josh Alexander wins an exciting matchup. This will be 20 to 25 minutes of just the best wrestling you'll get on this card. And Josh Alexander will retain here because I think we need that match that we haven't gotten yet for the title between Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin. That's the money matchup right now in Impact. I feel like they've kind of kept them apart for so long, one-on-one wise, but I think we finally get it after No Surrender. So I got Josh Alexander retaining to progress that storyline. And I don't know what we get from Rich Swann after this one, but I do know that he will stay in that upper echelon because he has the wrestling, he has the mic skills, and then he is one of the best wrestlers in Impact, minus those two guys. So I got Josh Alexander winning this one in great fashion. Let's move on to what I think should be the main event, and I'm hoping it is because they've been telling a great story with these two. We got the Digital Media Championship match between Joe Hendry and Moose. Joe Hendry comes in the champion. This is considered the dot combat match, which I assume is just a digital media hardcore match. Uh, these two are just telling the greatest of stories right now. You got Moose, who, of course, he considers himself a wrestling god. And then you got Joe Hendry with the whole I believe in Joe Hendry gimmick going, where he comes in and then he just tells everybody to get behind him. Whatever you need to do, just believe in me and I will make it happen. He's already beaten Moose last month, where when you had, of course, the whole incident of the low blow for Moose to get the victory, and then it got changed back, and then Joe Hendry picked up the victory here, of course. And then you had the whole Dancing Moose video. I just like every matchup where he's defending his title. Joe Hendry's doing like a video mocking his opponents. You got Dancing Moose, and then you got Matt Cardona where he's making fun of him being Edge's bitch. And he, of course, that was a couple weeks ago. He defeated Matt Cardona in a digital media championship. And then right after he did so, Moose came out to go and confront and spear Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry moves, and then Moose spears Matt Cardona. So then Moose says he wants a shot at that title again. He basically just wants to get his hands on Joe Hendry at this time, instead of the championship's just secondary to him getting revenge on Joe Hendry. I think he doesn't get that. I think he puts on a great match. I think he makes Joe Hendry look like $1,000,000. He acts like the heel that he needs to. He'll come close to winning, but I think you got to keep this title on Joe Hendry for a little bit more. I think he's doing a great job as the champion. It fits him because it's the internet championship basically, and Joe Hendry's doing everything he can to give the people what they want, whether it's his wrestling, his mic skills, the little parody videos. I want to see more of these parody videos of him making fun of these heel stars that he's going up against. So I got Joe Hendry eking out the victory here to retain his digital media championship at No Surrender. The other thing that we have is, of course, we got the Busted Open Radio edition live between Bully Ray and then, of course, Tommy Dreamer airing out their grievances. I'm excited to see what happens with that. They had to beat the clock between the two, and that was cool to see who gets to air their grievance first. And I'm interested to see what they say, what goes on, and how they progress it afterwards, because you would think it would just move into some sort of matchup between the two down the line. And I think that could happen at Rebellion coming up in a month or two. So I think this is just another way of getting these guys at each other's throats, progress their storyline, and then give us a reason to book a match between the two, to where maybe it's loser leaves Impact, and that's what we get at the next pay-per-view. But I think this is going to be a good, of course, like a good segment of the show. It'll be good to put this in between two matches that get big reactions. So the placement of this segment is going to be define the pay-per-view. I think it's going to need to be put in the perfect spot. Don't put it in a spot where you want to continue to have two down spots. You want to put this maybe in the middle of the show or towards the end, in my opinion. But I'm looking forward to this one come tonight. Other than that, that'll wrap things up with my Impact No Surrender 2023 prediction show by yours truly, Cage My IQ. You can find the rest of my content on YouTube at Cage My IQ. So don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button down below and give us a hit us up in the comment section and let me know what you think of my predictions. And then also check us out on Twitter at Cage IQ. I put all my videos up there. I put all my MMA and wrestling news that I retweet on that. And check out my UFC Vegas 70 prediction video from this past Tuesday for tomorrow's UFC Fight Night card. But other than that, I'll be back next week for more wrestling and MMA videos for you guys, because that's why I do this. And check out all the rest of my guys on Twitter. Check out the Circle Debate. Check out the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Check out the Tim King Show. Check out the Top Rope Wrestling Talk. Check all of them out and get yourself ready for the Bloodline Network coming next weekend, because they're going to have so much going on that network, and I'm graciously able to be part of it a little bit from time to time, which is great. So check that all out. Don't forget to check out the Clark Street Wrestling podcast as well. But as always, I'm your host, Cage, from Cage My IQ. This was the Impact No Surrender prediction video show. I will see you guys next time on another edition of Cage My IQ. Thanks for tuning in.